We take a player from this to this. So we're here today with George. A little backstory about George. George hasn't played in a while. You played a lot as a kid. Yeah. Taking some time off from playing, getting back into it, playing a lot of doubles. Yeah. And you've specifically been struggling with being at the net, trying to intercept the shuttle. Do you want to explain a bit more?
Yeah, so when I'm at the front, I find the shuttle's too quick, to be honest. It's sort of whizzing past my head a lot of time, juggling with my timings, and I find that I'm just missing it quite a lot. So need to focus on that a little bit today, I think.
Fantastic. So what we're going to do, we're going to take George through a few little routines, see where he's at, and start sort of building you a better technique to intercept more shuttles.
Perfect.
So this first exercise is just looking at how George reacts when a defender hits a drive. Simply, Dean's going to be standing, acting as the defender, hitting drives through the net. As you would as a defender, George is going to have to then intercept them. He's going to take the position he wants, and we're going to see how he does. Nice. Brilliant. If you stop there, Dean. So, George, what I want you to have a think about is, at the moment, you're having to go from middle out wide a lot. Yeah. Now, when I'm hit, imagine your partner's back here hitting a smash. We've got to think of almost probability. What's the most likely shot to come, and what's the hardest, the fastest, shortest flight time to come? Okay. Which is going to be this straight drive. Yeah. So what we want to do, instead of standing in the middle to prioritize both sides, I want you to shift your base a bit more across to prioritize that straight drive. Then we're having to move a hell of a lot less to intercept the shuttle. Okay? Nice. Good. Nice. Excellent. Okay, nice. Stop there. Sweet. So, how'd that feel?
Yeah, rusty, but it was good.
So we're starting to shift our base across a lot more. Yeah. Now, we're still having to move quite a lot and actually almost take a step back. Yes. Because we're letting this shuttle go straight past us, okay? Now, the reason for that is where your racket is. Yeah. Okay, so where do you think your racket is at the moment?
I feel like it's sort of here.
Yeah, so at the moment, it's probably down here. Okay. Okay, so we've got to think, as a net player, the shot we have to look for is this flat drive. Okay. So we want our racket to be looking for that. So I like the position of about level with that tape. Okay. Okay, and we can slightly prioritize sort of a bit more height with it. Yeah. Because that shuttle's most likely going to be coming straight up to it. Okay. That means we can sort of get that interception either at worst out to the side, but ideally in front of us. Okay. Okay?
Start higher.
Oh, better. Nice. Don't move too early.
I know.
There you go. So we've just had a look at the first 2 points to help George, mainly with his positioning being a bit more across, prioritizing that straight drive and getting his racket a bit more in a better position. Dean, you've been feeding from front on. Is there anything in particular you've seen that maybe he could make a tweak on?
I think one more aspect just to look at with the feet, and it's more when you're coming across to actually make contact with the shuttle. So what I feel happening at the minute is your left leg, your racket leg is coming diagonally back. So actually your movement's almost coming backwards, that shuttle's traveling a little bit further, and that, even though it seems like a fraction, that's going to give your opponent much more time to react because the shuttle's traveling further. So what I just want to work on maybe on this next set, bringing in the 2 points you've already mentioned, Dave, is really feel like you're trying to move across laterally to feel like you're intercepting the shuttle more in line with where you're starting, rather than feeling like you're coming backwards.
Good. That's it, nice. Even more forward if you can. That's it. Brilliant, brilliant. George, how did that feel?
Yeah, much better. Certainly having the racket up immediately meant that I was able to get the shuttle quicker, and also taking that step more diagonal, more across and backwards is certainly
It's just
positive.
making you more efficient,
Yeah,
making you
very
more
much.
efficient, being able to actually prioritize the shot that you really need to be cutting out and not worrying about the rest of the court.
So great start there, David, and covered a good few technical points. But I think an area for us to discuss is where would we actually want George to land this shuttle on the other side of the court? Because sometimes what we see are two main areas: people trying to hit too steep and bring the net into play. Other one, people trying to hit too hard and go sailing out the back. So what should we be aiming for?
I think it's very much a mindset thing here, and a lot of people make this mistake in that, oh, I've intercepted the shuttle, I've got to hit a winner. And that's how they force it. They try and hit too hard or too steep. When actually you've got to have this mindset of, I'm just redirecting this shuttle fast at my opponent, hopefully to get a weaker shot back. So I'm going to be actually maybe adding a bit more direction to it, maybe aiming at weaker areas, right hip, right shoulder can be good, slightly further down the line, dragging their defense wider. But the idea isn't, I'm not thinking it's going to be a winner. If it is, brilliant. That's a bonus though. That's a bonus. We're looking just to set up a weaker shot, an easier one to actually put away.
And it's almost being okay with applying this constant pressure to our opponents. And as you said, they were waiting for a weaker reply where we know we can finish the rally.
You've got to imagine yourself in that scenario defending. What would you be able to do? Would you be able to massively relift and turn it or hit an outrageous cross shot? Probably not. And if you do, it's 1 in 100. So you've got to think constant pressure is going to win you the rally no matter what. So we're going to be moving on to the around the head side now, George. Now, a lot of the same points apply here, particularly with your positioning. We've got to prioritize this straight drive here. So we're going to be this side of the line, racket above the tape, because that shot was going to be coming upwards. We want to be able to intercept that nice and early. The main difference here is your racket positioning, okay, the angle of it. On the forehand side, we could have it a bit more forehand biased here.
Yep.
Now, the hardest shot for us to cover here is the one really down the line on your right-hand side. And what we see a lot of people doing is taking this backhand. We want to take it around the head. It's a stronger position. So what I want to see is a bit more angle in your racket, sort of prioritizing this side a bit more so we can step out and intercept it. To help with this as well, you can actually have your non-racket leg slightly angled to allow you to cover that angle even better. Okay. Okay, so you stop there, second D. And so, think of your racket positioning. At the moment, your racket's starting in this position. I want to imagine, you've got to imagine that guy smashing. We want to be prepping almost already in that position. So we're up here.
Up here, right.
Okay,
Perfect.
up in that position, ready for that fast intercept. Okay. Unlucky. Good. Nice. So George, we're struggling to time it slightly.
Yeah, very
Now
much
a
so.
lot of this is we're just using a bit too much arm.
Okay.
So if you get into position now, I want you to feel like we're using this forearm to rotate through, short and snappy, keeping a bit more control with the racket.
Okay.
Whereas at the moment we're coming really sort of around our head too much to hit the shuttle. Okay?
Right, okay, short and snappy.
That's it. Good. Nice. Remember that racket. Good.
Much better.
Yeah, so much better, so much better. How'd that feel?
Yeah, it felt much better. I felt like I was able to sort of take it on the front foot. I felt like I was able to have like more of an aggressive shot back, and it felt like it could continue the rally, whereas the ones before were...
One little change I want you to make is hold your ground.
Hold the ground, okay.
We're backing off. We do want to be obviously behind the line by a decent amount to give yourself time, but at the moment we're almost backing off.
Yeah.
So we can't get that shuttle on its peak, and we're almost just being almost too negative about it. Okay?
Okay, so just don't back off as much.
So
when you say backing off, you mean...
I would say, I would want you, just a tab back from there, yeah.
So as they've done the smash, and then you want me to almost take that...
Yeah, hold that line here, and as you step out, it's right leg, but we're staying relatively level.
Does that also mean that potentially if the return hits it higher, I can attack it closer at the net and potentially get winning points?
Yeah, in a way you're prioritising too much the back.
Okay, fine.
Nice. Excellent. So Dean, obviously we spoke to George a bit about how he's hitting the shuttle using a bit more forearm rotation. Do you want to expand on why that's so important?
It's very important, particularly when we're at the net. I think sometimes what we see with some players is that they try and gain a lot of power from using their arm, almost like a smash at the rear court, but it's too fast. We don't have time to kind of feel like we're using that power. And actually, there's a lot of power in this forearm, and it creates a short, snappy action. So as George was setting the racket back into here, naturally on around the head, this kind of almost acts as a spring, and the racket sets a little bit more with the frame towards the net. And it's all about then rotating that forearm to get those strings back square as we make contact. And that's very much where the power is in this shot.
And in a way, it then keeps the rest of your body stable because we're using a lot less of this. So you're a lot less likely to mistime it because there's less moving parts to it.
Exactly, and it was really interesting speaking to George how he felt that almost my feeding had changed pace towards the end and it felt like I was slowing it down. Well, actually, the result of why he felt like that was because his prep was so much better that he was able to execute much harder shots by staying closer to the front. At the start, you could see how far George was coming back. Because of his swing, he felt like he needed more time to see the shot, to process it. And again, that's not really what as a net player. We want that net player to be really dominant, taking the shot as early as we possibly can and applying a lot of pressure to our opponents.
So this next exercise is looking at being a front court player and being able to intercept the shuttle, but then also move in for a kill when needed. So George, what we're going to be doing is a very similar exercise to what we just did. Dean's going to be firing in shuttles for you to intercept, but now every now and then he can pop one up to the net, almost as if you've kind of forced a weak shot off him. And a bit like what you said earlier, having that base position slightly further forward than sometimes you feel, just to allow you to have time to step in and kill it. Nice, watch him. Good. Up. Good. Nice. It's just a tad moving early, isn't it?
Yeah.
Too early. I want you to feel like this racket's the thing that's going first for this intercept. The foot can come slightly after, because at the moment the foot's almost moving before Dean's even hit the shuttle, which is why we end up over here and then having to run in. So hold your ground a bit and then react to what he's doing. Fine. Good. Good.
That's it. Back a bit more. That's it. Okay. Good. Nice.
Up. Good finish. So this final exercise is now making it more match realistic and adding a tactical element and decision making into George's game as a net player. I'm going to be defending, Dean's going to be at the back, he's going to be attacking down at me. I can then drive and block at George, and he has to decide whether maybe he lets one go through to Dean, can he intercept it, apply pressure to me, and obviously hopefully get through me. Okay. Oh, unlucky. So we're looking a bit hesitant. Would you feel, do you feel a bit hesitant?
Very much so.
Looks like we're just kind of, the racket's a bit sort of there for the sake of it.
Yeah.
I want you to, as a player, the mentality is I want the shuttle.
Yeah.
Almost like you're hunting. I want to get in the way of this to be able to intercept it. And then once you've got that intercept on me, keep it on me.
Yeah.
Okay. At the moment, we're sort of intercepting, moving back to the middle, trying to come out to intercept again. Intercept, hold there. That's the most likely place it's going to come back to. There you go. Good. So we haven't talked about grip pressure too much, but it looks like we're just a bit too tight with our grip. So I want you to feel like you're holding it 2, 3 out of 10. And then as we go to contact, that's when we're squeezing a bit more, maybe 8 out of 10. And that can really help with that sort of snappiness and really get you hitting the shot a bit harder at me. There. Nice. Good. That's a great shot, attack. Good shot. So just to round up, George, on what we've gone over today, we've looked at your positioning on the court.
Yeah.
So a bit more one side of the line. So we're prioritizing that straight drive.
Yeah.
And obviously, actually for you, just coming slightly further forward, but being probably still a good meter behind the front line. Then we've looked at your racket position above the net, and then prioritizing that line. So if we're on the round the head, a bit more across, on the forehand, a bit more straight. And then obviously how we're hitting the shuttle. So a bit more using the forearm, get some rotation in there, helps you find the sweet spot a bit more, and just being more aggressive.
Very much so.
How did you find it overall?
Yeah, big improvements. I really enjoyed it. Obviously, standing closer to the net and be a bit more positive massively helped you. Having the racket up and be ready for the interceptions also sort of allowed me to feel like I was keeping up with the game and it wasn't going quite so fast as I had previous times where I felt like the game was going way past me. This time the game felt slower, I was able to intercept and it felt like a much better game.
You definitely looked a lot more confident towards the end, a lot more presence at the net.
Yeah, I felt confident. I felt like I could potentially get the winning shot, or I felt like I was always hitting the sweet spot, and it certainly did improve my game by quite a lot.
Fantastic.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for taking the time to watch this live lesson. We hope you can take some of the points away to start improving your own game.
And if you enjoyed this video, please hit the like and subscribe button and head over to Instagram and give us a follow.